14, I wrote, when you are good, you have everything you need. Material things do not equate to goodness. So just because, and I think social media plays a big part in thinking that material things equate to goodness, because what people put out there on social platforms do not tell what kind of character they have, what kind of struggle they've been through, what kind of issues or what kind of glory that they're currently living through. And so it's important for us to be able to decipher that all material things aren't good, and just because you have it does not mean you are whole on the inside. You still could be lacking. I'm still lacking in some ways, and that we are human first. So know to decipher the two. Chapter 15, I put, your way is not God's way. And if that's not a word, I don't know what is. Your way is not God's way, and that's period. That's end of story, like bottom line of it all. Like, your way will not produce the results that God's way will. God gave Abraham a lineage of descendants, and all he wanted was a child. So when Abraham asked for a child, God said, I'm going to give you more when you obey and you trust me. And he did that, and he did all of that by giving him a whole, like, family line of people behind him, because all he wanted was one son. So chapter 16, I wrote, God knew you before you were born. So when God described Ishmael to his mother, like, God knows you before you know you. So you can't think that, again, your way is his will, because it's not. Because he knew you way before that. He loved you way before that. Chapter 17, again, God's will is better than your own. He made Abram into Abraham, and he gave him many nations. Sarah couldn't and thought she couldn't have any children, but God promised to bless her with her own. And so when you obey, when you listen, and when you follow because of the faith that you have in God, he will do exceedingly and abundantly because of your love for him and your faith in him. Chapter 18, find favor in the sight of the Lord. And I wrote Genesis 18:3. Nothing is too hard for our God. Sarah thought she was too old to have a child. Then God said, do you know who I am? And when God said, do you know who I am? He's like, why are you doubting me? Do you know what I can do? Do you know what I have done? Do you know what I have yet to do? So find favor in his sight and know that there's nothing too hard for him. Chapter 19, you get what is coming for you. Right is right and wrong is wrong. God buried Sodom and Gomorrah's nation. So if you ain't doing good, you're not going to get good. So don't expect it. And don't expect good if you aren't putting out good into the world. If you aren't being good to yourself, don't expect to get good things or achieve greatness because of it if you're doing bad. Chapter 20, God continues to show us there's consequences for our actions. And I put 2023. So again, you can't just be out here living like you were or expecting to have good things if you continue on the path of destruction. If you continue on the things that you know are not right for your spirit, that you know are not right for your health, that you know are not right for your world, if you continue to do those things and expect God to be able to reward you. Chapter 21. God is with you in all that you do. He sees everything and knows everything. Lean not unto your own understanding. That's it. That's all. Because again, it is not your way. Chapter 22. The Lord will provide. Isaac thought there would be no wood, but God made it so. He called Abraham to the place that God told him to go. The Lord will provide. So that's my biggest takeaway. The Lord will provide. So when you feel in lack, when you're feeling depressed, when I'm feeling like I cannot do it, or it seems too much, overwhelming, or unbearable, God will provide for me. And that's what calms me in times like that, is to know that God is in control and he will provide for me even when I think I can't do that for myself. Chapter 23. Sarah dies. Abraham respects the new nations and asks for the best place to bury his wife. Okay, that was just a note. I don't think I have any takeaways from that. Chapter 24. Listening and asking. Wait. Let's do this again. Chapter 24. Listening and asking specifically in prayer. And when I tell you, I felt that, because you have to be specific in your prayers. He already knows what's going to happen, what's going to, what he's going to do for you. But if you don't match up to what he's about to provide to you, then you don't deserve it. So listen and ask specifically in your prayers. The servant asked for a specific wife for Isaac. We must pray with detail and authority. We must pray with detail and authority. And I feel it right now, because I know that if I ask God to the T and I follow up with work, because faith without work, we know that is nothing. And so if I don't ask and follow through, I will not get it. And so when that servant asked for this wife for Isaac, he gave a specific prayer. So we know that because of that, we have to continue to ask in the most detailed way possible. Chapter 25. Rebecca had twins, and it is okay to ask God for clarity. We might not know why things happen to us, but we ask for understanding. 25, 22 to 23. So the major takeaway is ask God for clarity, but you might not understand the whole view at that moment, and that's okay, because the point is for you to take that piece of it and learn through it, learn from it. But we don't need to know why everything happens to us the way it happens to us in that moment, because maybe it wasn't meant for us to understand at that time. That's 1 through 25. Next week I will give you 26 through 50. And again, to reiterate, Char got a Bible guide. It's pretty much a oratory of my notes and my reflections and my takeaways from every chapter in every book. And so I'm doing this in real time, so I'm still reading through every book in the Bible, but I'm going to go through each one, and just the same style as this, give you my interpretation. Again, I'm no expert. I am no, I'm still a student, and so that's the bottom line. I'm still a student, and I hope that you take what I say and you apply it to your own life, your own understanding, and your own reading. And like I said, it's my purpose to be able to share it with you. And I pray that it is helpful, because it's really been helpful for me trying to see God's words and know that it's mine. His words are my words. And I'm living through that because he gave his life for us. So I thank you for watching, and I'll give you part 2 next week.